Welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Bretty Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it is a shitty boss, a dreadful workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you are the problem.
You are the problem. Today we are joined by comedian, improviser, and radio personality Nat Harris.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
We're all
Thank
so
you.
we're grateful bunch.
Has Nat told you how I got her a job in radio?
No? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
How?
No.
I manifested you getting on radio
that's
because I'm so
right.
fucking stupid. So during
I
lockdown,
forgot about this.
I was listening to Triple R and I was like, man, Nat's on the radio. This is awesome. So I was like, every day on the way to work, I would tune into Triple R.
Yes.
I signed up to their like monthly
yeah.
thing. I'm like, I'm helping Nat out. Nat's killing it on radio. I messaged her. She's like, that's not me.
Oh,
I fess up to it. I think I kind of led you on for a little while.
Yeah.
I think I was like, oh, thank you, because
But this was before she was on. And then like 2 years later, you actually got the job that I was talking about. But she sounds very similar to the other lady. So I
Who
was
was it? Geraldine Hickey?
Sarah Smith.
Sarah
Oh, so you didn't listen to their names? Like no one ever referred to Sarah as Sarah?
Probably, but I was like, maybe that's her radio name, Sarah or something. I can't understand. But I don't pay that much attention. I was like, Nat's killing it.
Oh
you know?
my gosh.
Yeah, but because I would be on there like occasionally.
Yeah.
But I definitely knew from when Brett sent the message that he couldn't have been referring to me. But I just kind of went along with it for a while. And that is classic me. I'm so not upfront. And
Yes. Okay,
someone
just
did that
let
to
him believe
me recently. I had a week off radio. This is a friend, and they never texted in about the show. And then they sent me like a clip from YouTube.
Yep.
And I had no idea why. It was about converting like Madison Square Garden into like an ice hockey rink or something like that.
Okay.
And I didn't know why. And then it turned out it was because they were listening to the radio and someone else was on and was talking about that and they thought it was me. So
Oh,
I don't
Sarah.
know what me and
Sarah's
my
back.
voice. Everyone is like,
Maybe
no
it's
one's listening to me, but everyone thinks they're listening to me on air.
You're like,
They're
man, this is
supporting.
a great clip. You're like, Brett, it's Joe Rogan, you fucking idiot. It's a dude's voice. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm like, I love your conspiracies. I'm buying mushrooms now. I want to be on at the mothership.
Oh, so that's just part of your personality is you just agree to make everyone feel okay.
Yes, but not in my professional life, I guess, not in casual jobs. Just thinking about it,
Okay.
I'm a monster when it comes to
Oh, you're a savage, are you? You're like, fuck
I can't
you.
imagine.
I can't imagine you being
No.
me. Or-
Oh, yeah, you get me to the edge. I mean, I have spent such a long time working in customer service. I mean, that wears you down. That makes you direct. You know, you just put an apron on and put a counter in front of me and I'm a different person. I'm just like,
Oh my gosh. Do you know I worked with Nat at the project and
Yes.
my first ever shift was like on this, you have to go, it was like everyone was working remotely and you're on Zoom and it was actually quite intimidating because I was a new comedian and then there was all these like established comedians who were working there. So all these faces of people who I'd seen on heaps of posters and had gigs that I would only dream about in Melbourne. And I was in
Wow, you did
Brisbane.
Spleen, Voltaire. Whoa, how'd you get Voltaire?
and then you looked at me and you're like, I don't recognize her
No,
from anywhere.
Who's number
Correct.
7? Yuck, get her
Correct.
off. Can you black out your screen? Thank you. Only
Sarah
celebrities.
Smith? That's Sarah Smith?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
But I
Joe
had-
Rogan again. Fuck.
But all these faces on there, like the Brady Bunch, like Zoom thing, and I looked at all. I was like, "Oh my gosh, everyone was there." But I just said, and it wasn't like a strategic thing. I was like, "Hey Nat, you did the bit at Raw, you know, and they're like the judges are deliberating. You came out and you had to do like 10 minutes or whatever, and it was." You were so good, and everyone was like, "Oh!" And all of the like the people the contestants or whatever, they'd like forgotten about how stressed they were. The whole room was having the best time, and so I'd said to you, "I saw you at Raw, and you were amazing." And you were like, "Oh, thanks." And then I looked at the rest of the comedians who were just like staring down the barrel of the camera, like, "And what about me, cunt?" And I was
What
like, "Nah,
set?
that's it. I finished."
What's your favourite 5 minutes of mine?
Yeah, I thought you were about to say, and you're like, I never did that gig.
Oh,
yeah, you're like,
no.
fuck,
You had a
fuck.
bit about coffee, because
Yes.
obviously you'd worked in cafes. And
Oh, I've worked in every cafe
Yep.
in Melbourne.
right.
Yeah.
And does that mean you got fired a lot, or you just left because you're a massive bitch?
No, yeah, a bit
I
of
would have left
both.
because I'm a cunt. I'll
No.
get fired all the time.
I have an excellent work ethic, but
Yeah.
no, it would get to a point where you would get worn down. And you're like, I need to relocate where no one knows me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you start out friendly and then the regulars weigh you down.
Yeah, you know what? I always say that people always like, oh, how good's the regulars? Like, no, regulars are cunts.
No, I hate regulars. People are so desperate to be regulars.
Yes.
And I will, go out of my way to try and fly under the radar at a cafe. I don't want them to know my coffee. I don't want them to pin that down. I don't want them to feel like they need to know my name. I mean, I was happy to get to know some of the people that were coming to the cafes.
Hot ones, correct.
The hot ones.
The hotties, the stinkers. I don't give a fuck. You want a decaf latte?
Oh,
Shut up.
Don't. But it was, it's just so draining.
Yeah.
And I think dealing as well with, I had a show called Baby Chino as well because it was like I felt like the Baby Chino just kind of represented like where you kind of sit in the pecking order of life, like trying to froth milk for a 3-year-old that will refuse
It will
to
smash
thank
it.
you. Yeah.
Did you put baby chinos in espresso cups or in little takeaway cups?
In espresso, whatever they wanted.
Because then the kids would always smash them. And the mums would be like, that's dangerous, like point at all that's broken ceramics. And
your
they're like,
little
"This is
fucking shit did that.
And you're like, it's broke. My kids, quickly, he's got sandals on. He's only got sandals on. You're like,
these are all your decisions. Number 1, the kid. Number 2, the sandals. Number 3, letting him get away with that shit.
I always thought when I worked in cafe, because I worked in cafes for ages, I was like, I'm never ever ordering a baby chino for my kids. And then I had kids and then I ordered them baby chinos. My son doesn't like them, which is great. So I can pretend that that's my decision.
Yeah.
I can, like, give me this. Let me have this. He won't drink. No, he doesn't need a baby chino. No, not me.
I'm a cool mum.
I'm not that kind of mum.
Yes.
No.
He can have a coffee.
Yeah.
I reckon giving your kid a coffee is a great idea. I've seen him without coffee. He is intense.
He's great. I've just created like probably a calmer version of Brett Blake because he's 3 now and he walks around the house with his cars like his dollies. Like I only had two girls who love dollies, and then I have Ari who loves his cars, but in the same way that the girls love the dollies. It's so adorable. So he'll put them to bed.
Yeah.
And then he has to sleep holding like 2 cars. And
Me too.
I was going to say, I was like, okay, when is this weird? Because I don't, you don't do this? Yeah.
But just a couple of days ago, I was talking to Brett on the phone, and as I was talking to him, I was making a chocolate cake, and I gave Ari the bowl of the chocolate mix that he could just eat.
Yum.
But instead of eating it, he was feeding it to his cars. So his cars were covered in batter. And I was like, Bretty, you're going to love this. I told Brett, and he goes, yep, well, they're well fed now. So I was like,
and they're sugar crashing.
Yeah.
Are we out of petrol or are they just low on glucose? Oh my gosh.
So you worked in lots of cafes. And are you from Melbourne?
I am from Melbourne. But you know what? I just remembered it's because it's just customer service. It wears you down. I had the weirdest experience just across the road at the service station before I came here.
Yep.
I just bought like an up and go. Needed a bit of breakfast on the go.
Yes.
Loved them. It was so bizarre. All of them had their straws ripped off. Like I went through the whole kind of
The turtles were hungry. They throw them into the ocean.
Is that's not because I noticed you put that straw in there. I was like, she's brought her own straw.
That's a straw from the bar here.
Oh my God.
And I just said when I was paying to the guy behind the counter, I was like, oh, just so you know, none of them have got straws. It's a bit weird. It wasn't like a complaint. And he goes, well, they fall off, don't they? And I go, oh, it's all of them though. And then he goes, well, I still want to sell them. And I was like,
I'm not having
a go. It was such a weird defensive response.
You were helping him out and he was totally misunderstood that.
Once you have your up and go, you'll be able to figure it out yourself, you fucking idiot. Or come up with a solution for us. Have us some straw. Yeah, they all fell off, but I got some spare ones over here you can use.
But it's like, I don't even think they can all fall off, but it was just
he's selling them.
That defensiveness that just sneaks through after working in hospitality for so long. Like, I know it just like seeps into you, and just if anyone even looks at you the wrong way, you just like go, shut up.
You should have gone like, come here, and then just hugged him, and he'd be like, it sucks here. Like, yeah, I know, dude, I know. It's not about the up and go, is it? No, it's not. It's really not.
So you worked in lots of cafes. Your first ever cafe was at one near your house, like your parents' house?
Yes, it was. Yes, and I was the dish pig.
Perfect.
So it started
I love when
out-
dish pigs call it dish pigs.
Yes.
It's been a dish pig. We had a dish pig on before and he was very offended by it.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. No. Dish pig and proud.
Yes.
Good.
And
Own it.
I loved it because you don't have to speak to anyone.
No one. What a beautiful thing.
Like I present as like a chatty social person, but I am not really.
Yeah. You're hating this next hour. You're like,
Yeah.
please stop talking to me. It's going to be a long podcast.
Yeah, you just had breakfast radio for, was it 3 hour shift, 4 hour shift?
Correct.
And
Yes.
then
Yeah,
you come here.
I hate talking anyway. Phone in 13 24 10. Tell us about your fucking letterbox or whatever.
Yeah, only if there's a microphone will I talk.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
so you needed one of, maybe you could have got one of those Madonna ones for when
Yeah.
you're working at the cafe. Like that's
Just
all she
cruising
needs.
around.
That's all she needs.
That was actually one of my favourite jobs when I worked at the bar on Friday nights. They're like, who wants to do glassy? I'm like, me.
Yep.
I don't have to pour beers. I don't have to take money. I just cruise around, grabbing empties,
Yeah.
putting
Yeah.
shit away. I'm like, and then you can listen to people's conversations. You can have a yarn. The
Polishing
best.
cutlery, I always
Oh,
loved
yeah.
as well, and it was really satisfying. You put that in the hot water with
Bit
the
of vinegar.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
they-
yeah.
oh, God, they shine
Yeah.
up so nice.
Well, you don't want fucking freckles on
Yeah,
the bloody
no.
thing, mate. You gotta put vinegar in the water.
But my last job in hospitality was brought undone over a gingerbread house. Yeah. So I worked at a cafe right near a school you used to work at, Bron,
Okay,
actually.
in Eltham.
No,
Fitzroy?
in Fitzroy.
Oh yes, okay. Yep.
And it was really popular cafe, but it was little and it was right near a school and a tram stop.
Yeah.
So it was,
was
all
that, I know exactly the one you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
And you don't want to work at a busy cafe. You want one that's kind of like chill. You know what I mean?
And so it was always really high pressure in the morning because people were like, I got to get my kids to school and I've got to get the tram. So they're kind of just like staring you
And
down.
they're rich in that area. They're
Yeah,
rich.
it's a wealthy area. And so they're staring you down to get their coffee. And it was a small little cafe. So there was only one of
Tiny,
us
yeah.
on the coffee machine, not like these bigger places where they've got multiple people
Yep.
pouring shots or whatever. So it was just one of those places where you're like, it's going to take a little bit longer.
But you can see that with your rich eyes. Like
Yeah.
you walk in, you go, there's one lady here.
Yeah.
I don't reckon I'm the queen of the world. I reckon I'm probably going to have to wait for that person and that person and that.
Yeah.
Like this is what even rich eyes can see.
Yeah,
that,
they can see it.
but then they don't acknowledge
Yeah.
it. So what did they do?
They're too busy, like, I don't know, the full wallet just weighing them down or something. I don't know.
hurts from all my
hips out.
I own 8 houses. I don't know which one to stay in this weekend. Fuck.
So there was a line out the door of people waiting for coffees, and it was just after Christmas, and a man stormed up to the front and said, "Excuse me," while I was on the coffee machine, and I was like, "Yes," and he's like, "You owe me a refund for a gingerbread house."
Beg your
And
pardon?
so we made gingerbread houses for order for Christmas.
Sure.
And he's like, I ordered one and I never got it.
Oh.
And I turned around, I was like, oh, okay, just really busy now. Do you want to come back in another time and we'll
Yeah.
figure it out or
Bad
whatever?
time, mate.
And he's like, no, I want a refund now. And I just kind of gestured to the full like cafe of people waiting for the tram and take their kids. And he had also a child he needed to take to school. It was just like,
It's not a good time for you either, mate.
yeah, exactly.
No
he was
one's
Come back when it's
winning.
quiet. And also, who wants to be like, hey, you actually owe me $17?
Yeah, it's like, you owe me this money.
So come back when it's quiet. Do it subtly. Hey, I didn't get my thing, you know?
Yeah, and so I remember I was like, ugh. And so I opened the till. And as I was opening the till to give him a refund, I rolled my eyes.
Good
and
for you.
And he said, don't you dare roll your eyes at me.
Oh my God.
Why wouldn't I fucking roll my eyes?
Yeah, and I
Exactly.
said, well, I can. And I did. Yes!
Yes.
I can and I did. And then I think I gave him the money back and he was furious. He's
Yeah.
like, what's your name? I'm going to write to your boss. You're in
Susan
big
Boyle.
trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then go, do the I am the boss.
Yeah.
Even when
Oh,
you're not,
yeah.
just say it. And also, it's a rental crisis. Can I live in that gingerbread house?
Yeah, please. What's the rent? I'll live upstairs with the must stick. But yeah, I think he ended up owning like quite a well-known restaurant in Melbourne. So he was like part of the food scene and like wrote to my boss. And
But also, if you are part of the food scene, wouldn't you look at any of the things that you've just listed
Yeah.
and be like, not a good time?
yeah.
Awful
know?
time, stressful time, and then also working in hospitality and sometimes Christmas time is so fucking busy. And if
Yeah.
you know, like you go, all right, it's like you order 20 hams or 30 hams or 100 hams, someone is gonna miss out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
going like, you know what? Fuck, it's not ideal, but we'll come up with another
Human error.
solution. You know,
Yeah.
it happens. Is there
Yeah.
any way I can get for my kid's birthday coming up? Could I get another one? Yeah, of course, mate. Sorry, mate. It was our fuck up. You
Yeah.
can have it for free. Awesome, done, resolved.
Please, would have loved to have sorted him out for a gingerbread house. Oh, I'm so sorry if he hadn't stormed out in that fashion. And then I
Pointed
remember
at
my
you.
boss pulling me aside and being like, so I received this email. What happened with the gingerbread house? And I explained, and she said, "Are you okay?"
Oh, good.
And I said, "No, not really."
Yeah.
And that was the end of my hospitality career.
Oh, you're like, I'm done now. I can't be
I
fucked.
was like, "Yeah, I actually can't stomach anymore."
yeah.
Oh,
Can't
do you
set
know-
chip away. You know what I
hope
mean?
He doesn't know that he was the reason. Not that it was your dream, but you know when you never want them to think that they got the better of you. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like you think you're being tough. I can't even see it.
Yeah.
I can't even.
I'd
see
want the
you.
opposite. I'd be like, you know what? It was my dream to work on this coffee machine, and you ruined
You
it.
ruined it.
Yeah,
You
and now I'm depressed, and
No,
I'm
he'd
on
love it.
Centrelink.
He'd be like, because especially if he's in the industry, he'd be like, well, she wasn't tough enough.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
yeah.
wasn't tough enough for this noble profession.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're a big
She
tough guy.
couldn't
Let's go,
hack it.
Yeah.
let's go through your books. Make sure you're paying everyone correctly, cunt. All right, before you
Oh,
come to
yeah,
the front of this
where-
fucking
where's
line.
where's the super?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I need to do a charity fundraiser. Do you, George Calambaris, you fucking parasite?
Oh,
He
sorry,
fed people
George.
over though,
He's
didn't
a-
he?
Yeah, he did. But he then paid him back.
Yeah.
But he was a real. Yeah, he had like. How did he think he was going to get away with it? But in that industry, everyone's underpaying everyone.
Yeah.
I worked at a cafe in Elwood where there was. I would open every morning. And I would get there earlier because I hate the mad rush.
Yep.
And so I would time myself because I'm a little bit competitive. So I'd get there early and then I would be like, I reckon I could do this whole inside, out and outside and the coffee machine in 20 minutes. And so I'd be like sweating.
Yes.
But as soon as this guy had worked out that I got there earlier and as soon as I'd walk in, he'd walk in with me and it'd be 5:45.
Nah.
And I was like,
no.
literally none of the lights are on. And he'd go, no, I just need 2 coffees. I just need 2 coffees.
Oh, don't.
No.
And I'll be like, well, I have to turn it on and I have to flush it through because all of the like bloody coffee things are soaking in chemicals. And and I'd be like stepping over milk. I'd be like dragging in crates of like
This is my
focaccia bread.
time, not till
Yeah,
6.
it was just I wanted this, and he started doing it like every day.
Oh,
And then
my heart rate's going up.
Yeah, and I was because at the start I was like, it's pretty annoying. And then one day I just had enough, and I didn't say anything, but I went when he walked in.
Yeah.
I turned around, saw him, went and he went, it's just 2 coffees. And I
Not
went,
just 2 coffees. It's my time.
I was like, I'm not even clocked on yet. I'm not even getting paid for this job. So I was like, okay, yep. What? Fine. And I like stepped over the stuff. I'm like smashing like things. I was like really annoyed that he was there. And he made the coffees. I put them up and he looked at me and he went, no. And then he turned around without the coffees and left. So I watched him like walk into the darkness.
You're like a fucking dog.
No.
What?
Yeah, no. He walked into the darkness and I was like, so what's that? And I was like, oh, I guess I was pretty rude. But at the same time, I was like, fuck, I've told him we're not open. Anyway, then my boss comes in. He goes, you were so rude to a customer, I heard. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, the guy works in the fucking like physio or whatever. He's made a really, really extra. He goes, it was an entire A4 email.
Physio.
Complaining about how rude you are. And he's threatened to never come back.
Great.
I said,
Great.
I said, I don't care if he
Best
never comes back.
outcome.
And he goes, no, you'll apologise.
No.
Did you tell him it was early though? Like he
Yeah, I
came
said
in
he
early.
comes in too early.
Nah,
and
your
he
boss
goes,
is
and
fucked
he goes,
as
if
well.
you're here, he goes, if you're here,
Don't.
why can't he get it? He's like, he goes,
Well,
how hard
pay
is
me from then.
Yeah, he goes, how hard is it to turn on the coffee machine?
Very.
He's never worked a shift there. And I was like, you're right. And so when he came back in, I said, I heard I need to give you an apology. And he goes, that'd be nice. And I said, what am I giving you an apology for? And he goes, you were rude. And I went, no, it wasn't.
Great.
And he went,
Like this apology.
okay. And that was it.
That was it. And
Whack that on an A3, cunt. Blow it up. Don't give a shit.
No,
AO.
I wasn't. Oh, I hated him so because this is what they do in cafes. They're just like, you are the lowest of low if you're working at a cafe.
Yeah.
And then, and I had another one in a cafe. I was working, same one in Elwood, so similar with
Yep,
Fitzroy,
clientele.
very rich. Okay, Mark Holden's wife, her name was Anna. She's American. She was horrible, so
Yeah.
mental.
You better say hot. I was like,
Yeah,
hell
She
yeah,
was
Mark.
so
Touchdown.
mental. She would always bring a chihuahua in, and we would always have to be
course.
like, Anna, you can't bring you can't bring a dog in.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
We'll
Food
sit
around
out.
and
There's
shit.
so many tables out there. She goes, I don't want to sit outside. And she'd bring it in and she'd feed it pancakes.
don't.
And we're like, you can't bring the fucking dog in. Anyway, woman I was working with, her name was Kelly, and she was incredible. It was really lovely, and she loved animals so much. And she was always like, "Bron, no one can see it." I was like, "No, Kel, like you can't have the dog in here." Then, so Kelly went over to her and said, "Hey, Anna, if it were up to me, I would absolutely
I'd kill your dog."
And I'd drown you and Mark Holden as well.
It was to be the dog could stay, but you can't. I'm really sorry. Anna was so nasty. She stood up, went outside, and this was a busy day. So there were there were 8 tables outside. They were all full, and all the doors were open, so the tables inside could hear it. She was holding this dog, and she went, "Everyone, listen up. The girl on the coffee machine," and everyone turned around and looked at Kelly. She was standing there bright red. "The girl on the coffee hasn't had a big enough line of ice today." And because Kelly was really thin as well. It was just like how she
This is
disgusting.
awful.
And she goes, "Look at her. It's a junkie that we're dealing with."
And no one's doing a line of ice. Get it
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah.
And then-
That was the only part of that story that upset me. I was like, no one is racking ice. I've done it before. It really hurt. Anyway, I had a nosebleed.
And then she stormed off into the day, and then I had to look at Kelly. Lost it. She was so embarrassed. She cried her eyes out. And then my boss was then like, "You guys you owe her an apology."
You're kidding me.
So we had
Your
to
boss
apologize
has got
to
to
her.
back you up.
Yeah, no, they don't. Why would they?
Also, who are these people, like, in your circumstance, who are these people that, like, everyone knows work is hard. Why do you intentionally make someone's day harder?
Yeah.
Like being a cunt for no reason. What do you got nothing going on in your life? You're like, I'm going to take down this person on minimum wage who's fucking 22
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, well, fucking, are you on ice?"
Yeah.
You're like,
and now it was horrible.
you're a fucking cunt of a human.
I think in Melbourne, if you want to be able to partake in cafe culture and be particular about your coffee order, it should be compulsory that you work in a cafe.
Oh,
Yes.
great.
Because everyone needs to know what it's like.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, it's just easy. Oh, would you mind cutting my muffin into 17 pieces? And oh, I just want a 3/4 latte with a sprinkle of chocolate on top and a mocha. They make up the most ridiculous riddles. And you're like, you're ordering a cappuccino. You want chocolate on top. It's not a special order. Call it what it is. I like my latte to be full and fluffy, and I like chocolate on top of my latte. And I like a bit of chocolate in the coffee too.
That's a mocha.
That's a mocha! You psycho!
Grab a knife and cut it yourself, you can't. You know what I mean?
That'll be $17.
Yeah.
And you're not coming in a minute before we're open. God.
The one coming in before, but I love it. It was the same note, but when you see a bar that's rammed and then there's like 4 woo girls, like, "We're going to grab cocktails." You're grabbing a fucking Moscato and you're getting your ass back to the line.
Here's a bottle, share it.
Shit, yeah. Either way, you're going to end up crying. So what does it matter? Just don't fucking make me wait. There's 18 people. There's one bartender who's going to flirt with you throughout this whole process. I just want a beer. Look at my hand shaking, brother. I'm an alcoholic. Get me in. Get me out.
Girls, here's a bottle. Here's 4 straws. I stole from the up and goes. Fuck off.
There we go. Enjoy.
Okay.
Right, we had a technical difficulty and we're back. But speaking of when customers come in early,
Yes.
I used to work at Dick Smith and we used to close the door, this metal fucking like door, so it was like either side, so there was only like an inch, so we could just come in, let customers out, and then I used to jam it hard. People used to be like, "Oh, the door's closed." "Yeah, cunt, you're not meant to be getting through it." I put a chair in front of the way as well. It was like fucking a zombie apocalypse. And people, I'm like, "Yes, I don't want you in the shop." And they're running around like, "Oh no, I'll be quick. And then 10 seconds later, I'll be like, "So what type of warranty does this come with?" You're like, "Can't fuck
Get
off. Can I get a discount?" You're like, "No, you're paying full price and you're fucking off, cunt."
Oh, no.
"I need a resistor now." "Do you?"
No.
"I reckon it'll be fine."
Yeah, you will be fine.
Fucking customers.
Oh, yeah, it's an absolute pits.
But at the same time, it is annoying when you're waiting for a shop to open. It's like the Optus shop. I had to go get my kid a SIM card and we're waiting at the front of the Optus shop. I had my 3-year-old and there was just 2 people just standing in there. And I was like, okay, it opens in, it's 2 minutes, but they're just standing there. I wonder if they can see me. They wouldn't look up. And then it got to like 9 o'clock. I was like, okay, they'll open it now. Then they waited a few more minutes. I think like to punish me for
I would have
waiting.
done that. Yeah.
But I was like, do you think I'm having a good time? Do you think I'm here? But then
But were you doing these ones? Because like
Yeah.
people who work in those like we know you're there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
they
you're
knew,
there.
They knew I was there.
Oh yeah,
It was annoying.
I'm making you wait as well.
Oh, even with a baby,
Yeah.
he's got cars, Brett.
Oh, I didn't realize he had cars.
His
Yeah,
cars.
Come in.
On a diet of chocolate.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
I need to get a new mixer because the other one's broken. I can't bake the cakes quick enough for the cars.
I'm not
starving.
unless you're holding a pram and you're trying to get through a fucking door. I'll hold that. But if you're holding you got a kid, I'm like, I'm not sympathetic to this situation. You know what I mean?
Not even with cars.
I don't really think about it. It's not a thought.
Brett.
Yeah.
Real, not Kmart brand.
It-
Hot
Hot
Wheels.
Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Hot
All
Wheels.
right, the kid can come in. You stay
You
out.
stay out. Hot Wheels is coming in too.
Yeah.
But a lot of this sounds like child's play in comparison to I worked for customer service for local council.
Oh.
Yeah, for a few years.
Oh my gosh.
And
Customer
that
service.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That I loved and I hated it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was incredible.
At
for
the council?
content. Yeah, for local
You would have
council.
got which council? Oh, you can't. Don't say which
I
council.
won't say which council, yeah.
Did you get any emails from me ever?
Oh.
I'm always in a fight with the council.
Are you? What's your go-to?
I just take him to court. I'm going to court next week.
parking fines, right?
Well,
I won't.
yeah, because tell me if this is true or not.
Okay.
So if something happens and you send an email explaining to the council why it happened and giving them a legit reason, they don't really fucking read it. They just go, no.
Oh, we would just refer it on to local laws, but you would have to have like proof of there being some kind of medical emergency or like death in the family. Like generally they
I've
are.
made up a lot of those. Yeah. I fuck 'em.
And they want the documentation. Have you gotten out of any?
Yeah, I've gotten out of like 11 of them.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, the one that got me, like, because I was like, I
So happy
parked
for
in a
you.
loading zone and then I had to get, I legitimately fucked my back.
Yeah.
And then they're like, your back is fucked. You need to stay here overnight. And because I couldn't walk. And then I got a fine. I told the council, I was like, hey, the reason why I'm in this boat, because my back was fucked. I spent the overnight. And then I said, look, here's my in and out paperwork. They're like, we need a letter from the doctor. Oh, sorry, cunt. You want me to go back into the hospital when I was on fucking Oxy? No idea who it is. Sorry, mate. I know you're in surgery, but can you write a fucking letter? They always want so much. And I was like, nah, cunt. I'll see you in fucking court.
Yeah.
And then you bring your medical stuff and they're like, the judge is like, why are you wasting my time, local council?
Yep.
And they're like,
Right.
fuck you out. And then I get away with it.
It's a confidence thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I will turn up to court. And then there's a
the
local
bluff.
laws officer there.
I had my
just like,
car around the wrong way recently. So like
oh, yeah.
so I didn't park. I was just loading up my motorbike in a quiet street. Me and Nick in the photos of them, they drive past in the council car. They're taking photos of my
So
me
they
loading
don't
the bike.
actually pull over.
No,
They don't
they've
pull
got
over,
cameras
just-
on the
Yeah,
dash.
some they just, drive by. And
So drive by, my car's around the wrong way. You can see me pushing my motorbike up there. The car's still on. I got the hazards on. I was there for like 8 seconds because I got to go with the lay of the land to push the bikes up because they're heavy. There was no other places to park. I could have parked across the road, but I didn't want to be a cunt.
You should ask for the picture for like your Tinder profile or something.
That's
Sounds
right.
like quite
Oh,
an action shot.
I've got, I look good. I've got the photo evidence because I'm going to court again. And they're like, no, according to this section of the law, you can't park the car around that way. And I was like, okay, well, here's four photos of council cars around the wrong way. Oh, no, that's a service vehicle. I was like, oh, there's no signs on them clearly. Anyway.
You've gone around and taken photos.
Yeah.
You've gone to do.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah. What's the fine? What's the fee?
$170.
Yeah, it's a
and
lot,
I think
isn't
they've
it?
gone up even more.
They just
this
local
year.
councils just make up numbers.
Yeah.
I'm fucking sick of their shit.
Yeah, look, I think I'm all about like challenging your parking fines and going to court and doing your homework and things like that. But people would call up about fucking wild
yes.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's that as well.
Oh,
which I hate.
a woman once
There's a
called
possum
up.
on my roof.
No, a woman called up once because there was, and this is not a fucking word of a lie, a magpie
Oh.
on her balcony. And I was like, what?
God,
Oh,
she
that was-
pays
What?
her taxes. Get it off.
I'm a ratepayer, she kept
No.
saying. Do you know when I started working at council, I didn't know what a ratepayer was? And I learned, I'm
issue.
a ratepayer. I'm a ratepayer.
What are these ratepayers on about? Maybe that's like VIP.
Yeah, God, I need to get
I
it.
pay $300 a year. I don't want to see a magpie.
It was like, what did she think was going to happen?
What was your job then? Was your job to like pander to her, be like,
I had to go
"Look,
over
that
and get
must-
rid of the magpie.
I was like, what did she think I was going to jump in.
Did you laugh at her?
I was like, oh, I'm not really sure what you want me to do about that.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, yeah, it's been there for a while and maybe it was being aggressive or something. I'm like, oh, well, just wait or shoot it off. Yes.
Shoot it.
Shoot it. Well, I'll be over in 5 with my rifle. Please open the door. Make sure I have a clear line.
Due to regulations, we're not allowed to have guns anymore, so I'll come over and choke it out for you, shall I?
I'll bring on nunchucks. How about that?
Get under the bed right now. I'm coming over. What is your name? What is your first and last name? What's your address? What's your star sign? Okay, well.
Crawl under the bed and tell me what you see. It's like the scene made of Liam Neeson.
Do you have children? Yeah. Do not. You must listen to everything I'm about to say. Okay, now I want you to put some bread in the toaster. Once it is done, I want you to put it on a plate and I want you to butter it. And I want you to put some Vegemite on it. And I want you to leave it on the bench for when I arrive. I'm going to be quite hungry.
I thought you were putting the toast in the toaster to figure out at what time she was kidnapped from the magpie. You're like, all right, this toast is cold, so that was upwards of 8 minutes ago. We've got 8 minutes to fucking track this lady down in a magpie. She could be any tree. We don't even know.
Yeah, you don't say another fucking word, Susan. You're going to listen to me if we're going to get through this.
She's like, you can hear her scurrying under the bed. You're like, it's safer
Putting the
under
toaster
there.
in. Yeah, this. I knew someone would take this
Put
seriously.
the toaster on and jump in the bath with it.
Now put a 50 on the bench and hide in the cupboard.
I have.
And don't come out of the cupboard until I'm gone.
You leave a dead magpie on her bed. You're welcome, Susan.
Problem
You're
solved.
welcome.
This is a prop magpie you have to keep.
I've got neighbours who complain to the council about absolutely everything.
yeah.
Things anyone's renovating.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please.
Anyone's renovating the area, it becomes their issue.
Don't change anything ever.
So I'm like, we haven't renovated yet, but we are doing. We're like enclosing our carport to make it a garage. And I said to them, hey, can we just the people just need to get into your backyard just for like an hour just to like do that wall. He went, in no uncertain terms will anyone be on my property. I'm like, you know that we have to live next to each other.
Yeah.
Why don't you make
wouldn't
people's days easy?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
so now these poor carpenters are going to they've got like 10 centimetres to put a wall up between that and the fence. I'm like, just the people who go out of their way to feel like to make people have a shit time.
Yeah.
And then they're the people who are calling the council.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
In neighbours, you realise it can just make or break
Yes.
your
Existence.
exactly
yeah.
life. And it's not being dramatic. There'd be people who would just be constantly up against it.
I had my neighbour break into my house and try and rip my fence down.
What?
And she's 90.
What? It's the house that you're living in right now.
I don't fucking know.
Susan. She hates a magpie.
Susan.
There's a
It's
magpie
a
on it.
magpie lady. Yeah, no, I told this fucking story. But
House you're in now, your old house.
my old house in
Yes.
Richmond. So the fence was fucked and it was falling over.
Yeah.
So when I got to this place, I was like, well, I know how to fix a fucking fence. So I fixed the fence. I tied it. You know, I redid the structure of it. And then I put some nice new sheets on my side. So it looked beautiful. And then I fixed her issue on her side.
Tagged her side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a swat sticker or something. I don't know.
Something cute.
Yeah,
It was cute.
I got the Burmese symbol around the wrong way, the Buddhist one or whatever.
Buddhist.
Whatever, who cares? But then she's like, she was like going nuts at me. She's like, how dare you touch my fence? I was like, I didn't touch a fence. I grabbed it from the other side and I'm making it better.
Yeah.
Like I fixed it. But I was like, if you want me to fuck it up again, I'll put it back exactly where it was. So I released the strap, put it back on that angle.
Oh, she was under it.
Yeah, she's dead now.
She's dead.
Can't complain now, can ya?
Yeah.
And then I still had my fake temporary fence there. She's like, you can't put a fake fence in front of the shit fence. I was like, I absolutely can.
Oh my
It's on my
gosh.
side of the fucking property. I can do what I want. I can do a shit on this fence if I want to. Yeah. And then cut like 2 days later, Fee's like, there's someone is in our back garden.
No.
And I'm like, what? So I go out and there's this 90-year-old lady with a Zimmer frame pulling the sheets down.
No.
And she's like yelling some shit and she's grabbing onto the plant. And I was like, it was obviously upsetting and traumatic for her. So I helped her pull the sheets down. I undid them. I said, look, is this what you want? Do you want them down? She's like, I want them down. She was like, Luke. I was like, okay. And then as soon as I got her around the corner, I was like, just put them back in. Who gives a fuck? But she broke into my property and then her fucking son, who's 70, the little cunt, old cunt, whatever, jumped on her fence line and cut my bush down and poisoned it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then threw it over and it was a big fucking hedge. And I went nuts. I fucking sent him a thing. I said, if your fucking son ever gets on that roof again, I'm a real bad shot with my bow and arrow and I'll fucking get him.
Bow and arrow.
Yeah, I have a bow and arrow. Yeah. I
But
told
it's
this on
so-
Question Everything. I don't know why they cut it out. Anyway.
But it's so weird that like when they go, they're like, no, you're blocking my view or into my yard. We obviously don't get along,
Yeah.
don't you? Because I want to put up things,
Yeah.
but I know that my neighbour is going to be like, no, I would like to see in there.
Oh, you want to look
Yeah.
at my tits when I'm having a shower, do you?
Yeah, and
Make
like
it
he
weird.
can see he's so vindictive. He's put he's got like these really bright sensor lights, like so bright, and he's had a fight with another neighbor. They've had a fight every single neighbor around them. The neighbor behind them, he's fashioned the light so that it goes directly into their bedroom window at night. So when he's got so many trees, so anytime the wind blows, it goes on and it goes directly into their
You
thing.
should be able to complain about that.
She's because she's dealt with him for years.
That's
she
it.
goes, I don't care. I've got blinds. He's good for him. But for a while, it was into our kitchen. But that was when it was old tenants, and then only recently, when we haven't given him grief. Well, I don't know, been there 7 years. He's finally like moved it to another neighbor that he hates. But you're like, so he just like he got nothing
I would
on.
go over there with a baseball bat and just fucking take all of them out.
But he's the kind of person who would call. He calls the police and says, "There's this man." As he did this to one of our neighbours, this old man is watching my kids when they're running around in the sprinkler in their undies. One, the kids they're like teenagers, they weren't doing that, and this lovely old fella was so upset. He was like, "I would never do that. What are you talking? I would never do that." The police are like, "Look, mate, there's been a complaint about you with around children." So it's just so that's the kind of shit he do,
Jesus.
and so I'm like, I don't want to.
Ruffle those feathers.
But
That's
nasty.
nasty.
I'm like, because I've had a shit neighbor before where she really, really did my head in. I'm like, but it's like, how do you live next to someone and decide it's going to be bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Wouldn't
you want
you
to
be
get
like-
along?
Yeah.
But some people just live in like so those cunts at the cafe we're talking about. Some people really do get off on the fact that everyone hates them and they're pissing people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are like, I've got nothing else to do.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Fuck
So
'em.
Nat, would the council be your worst ever job?
Look, no, I think I got in trouble at the council. I got a complaint made about me that went all the way to the mayor.
Was it
Susan.
me? Because that sounds like something I'd do.
To the mayor.
To
That's
the
pretty
mayor.
cool. What
yeah,
did you
and
do?
I went to the top. I mean, it wasn't even that bad.
To the mayor. That rules.
Yeah.
I'm going to the mayor.
I'm going to
we
the
have
mayor.
a mayor? What?
Yeah, it was escalated and it was circulated around the whole team. They were like, this has been resolved. And it was like a transcript of the conversation and my name was circled and highlighted. I remember a friend like sending me a screen grab of it and like
Just writing brutal.
yeah, but basically it was a nightmare neighbor. I can't remember what he was complaining about, but he essentially said he was being really rude and saying stuff, and then he's like, wait, I'm just going to take a deep breath. I'm trying to be more Buddhist.
Oh,
He said,
it's nice.
and then I was like, this guy's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And then he continued to be an asshole.
yeah, great.
And
you're
I
not
s-
doing very well, mate.
Yeah.
Like maybe you want to read the rules
Maybe
of that.
Yeah,
do
I
a
think-
silent retreat. They love those.
Well, I said, and then as he kind of started to kick off again, I go, oh, what's happened to your Buddhism now? And he said,
Perfect.
what did you say? And then that was what escalated me all the way to the mayor. I know, it's like, come on.
That's
That's
pretty funny.
Yeah,
He would have been
right.
like, and she was racist against my religion. Like, no, it's not your religion. You said you're trying to be more Buddhist.
You're trying to be more Buddhist. And then I remember my team leader being like, it was pretty funny listening back to the call. I was like, thank you. I'm like, I couldn't not say it.
Yeah.
But so I was taken all the way to the top at
What did the
for
mayor do?
council. Yeah, I think they found that I like conducted within the
Parameters.
exactly the guidelines.
so
I
you
think I
weren't
just got
fired.
through. I wasn't fired. I was given a warning. But I think
He
my
would have been devastated
I
by that.
know.
Oh my gosh.
He was like a repeat caller as well.
Yeah.
So I was
You'd get heaps of
new.
them.
So that was the thing. I went from working in hospitality to then working for council on the phone, and so I was used to being able to get away with little quips.
Yes, where this is recorded and transcripted or
And
whatever.
then I was like, whoopsie, low, everything is taken
so
down.
you're a cunt.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I used to
you.
work hospo.
No, I'm not doing that. Bye. Like I would hang up on people, like, and then just hope for the best and hope that they could trace everything. I remember having that realization. I was like,
Oh no.
And it's like I was working for council because it was good pay. So I was like, I need to pull my fucking head in. But I'm not
okay.
okay.
When you used to get repeat callers, do you like know the number and you're like, oh, fuck, it's
Yeah, they do,
Magpie
like,
Lady
warnings,
again.
Yeah, and you can see
Oh, it comes up warnings, does
like
it?
your name. You
Yeah, my name. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
My name.
They know you.
Like there'd be all kinds of notes on you. All
Really?
kinds of notes. Yeah, but again, you've got to be like really careful with
This
that
is why
as
I'm
well.
excited because I've moved councils
Oh.
and they've never dealt with me yet. So
they don't know what they're
so
in for.
exciting when
Ah.
you move councils because I moved this year and I'm in a new council and yeah, it's really exciting. You're like, whoa, you do this with rubbish night? Like that's wild.
No, I'm just like, oh, you don't know what I'm about to bring to
I'm
your
about
front.
to ruin your life.
I'm gonna fucking drag you all. That's right. I've changed the court date 3 times, cunts. I know I can do it and get away with it. Ha 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 ha. 24 hours notice. You got to redo the paperwork.
But like you said, Nat, it's good pay, and they don't really care because it's not you're not paying them. They're just like, okay, mate, change it.
True.
Everyone, they're fine.
Yeah,
They're fine.
I'm
Bree.
getting my $170 worth of entertainment. That's for sure. Yeah.
good. Well, that's good.
But I think definitely my worst job was when I was a teenager and I used to sell raffle tickets for
It's always the nicest sounding job. Yeah.
for the Collingwood Football Club.
Oh, just down the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but we would only get
How does this go bad? I
What
don't
do you
understand
mean?
it.
Where?
sweet
Like,
tea.
at
door
the
to
front
door?
of the MCG.
Raising money for
before the-
cancer. Fuck off, your
No,
mum.
I don't. It wasn't, and I don't know what the raffle was for. It was when I was in like year 9. I had like 3 jobs. I was trying to save up, and
Yeah, this is a weird job. Yeah.
and then it was like in winter out the front of MCG, like wind tunnel. They were the longest shifts, and here's the worst bit. Is that I can't remember how much we sold the tickets for, but we only got 50 cents a ticket.
oh, weren't paid by the hour.
No, we weren't paid on an hourly rate.
What's the commission? You got a commission. Wow, that's insane.
So we got 50 cents per ticket. We didn't sell any. And I remember just being freezing. And I think you could work for as long as you wanted. Like you turn up, you get your book of tickets. You get a bum bag with the float or
Very
whatever.
cool. Yeah.
And I remember we started, had to like diversify. And I remember realizing I'm like, wow, we're not making any money. If anything, I was losing money because I would always get so hungry on shift. And then to
Need
buy
hot chips at a can of Coke.
to
Yeah.
buy anything at the MCG was like $45. So I was like in deficit every shift. And so I remember realizing that we could get pass outs to get in and out of the MCG.
Right.
And so I started selling the pass outs.
Ah,
That's
I
very
like
clever.
this.
Yes.
Very clever.
And I remember when I didn't have much money and I was also shoplifting for like food. I remember stealing M&Ms and stuff from MCG. So
Wait, this sounds like you. We said, "What's your worst job?" It sounds like you were the
best.
worst employee, not the other way around.
nah, like that was I wasn't working for the MCG. I don't know who. It was some
Who are
promo.
you working for?
I don't know.
Sounds like you're working for some
Magpie,
old
a
guy.
flock-
So like, it was that lady
Susan.
again.
Susan,
I was
tell her you're
working.
coming.
I was working for a flock of magpies. I was
Full
collecting
circle
shiny
moment.
things. Yeah.
But were the people bad, or you like, hey, do you want to buy a room? They're like,
Collingwood fans.
yeah.
It was
fuck
Collingwood
off.
fans. I remember, and it's like we'd see Eddie McGuire. And that was our only ticket to like make.
Oh,
any
he'd
money.
buy him.
He'd buy him. Yeah, I'll buy a whole book.
$3,000.
Meat pies for all of us. I haven't eaten in weeks. And then just like go home empty-handed after like 7 hours.
How long did you do it for?
Oh,
A month, just a season.
maybe
You
a
couldn't do-
season.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember just realizing you're like, wow, I'm not making any money.
Losing money and freezing cold.
Like the max we could make was, a couple of hundred in the.
how many fucking tickets are you like
Well,
in the
I'd
booklet?
never- yeah, would
Must have
never
been
sell.
in a suitcase
I wonder
behind
what
you.
I was selling the pass outs for.
You wonder? You asked me that.
You
were there.
only you know the answer to this.
Is that a question?
Yeah, I know.
Hang on, I think $1,750.
Let's call the
Wonder what
council.
You're giving them away for free as well. You are shit at business, dude.
I was not giving them away for free. Did you not hear the bit where I was shoplifting and selling pass outs? Please,
Yeah.
I did manage
Selling
to.
what? Pass
Pass
outs.
outs.
I think you said you're selling Tarzos as well. I was like, fuck, what is it?
That is
You're
good.
stealing bags of chips, getting the Tarzos out, selling the chips and the Tarzos. You're like,
Separately.
Oh my God, I'm
also
never
you
going to
said
be
you had no money. Didn't you say you were like 9 when you were doing this job? What are you?
year 9.
Year 9.
already.
What do you mean? It's not like your parents got no food in the cupboard. What
Maybe
was going
they
on?
didn't. How dare you assume?
Yeah, it's true.
How dare you
how
assume?
dare you? No, that
Magpies
was
stole it all.
There was
Yeah.
food in the cupboard, but I had a good work ethic. My parents were like, go out and get a job.
Well,
Get
you
in
didn't
the
have a good
freezing
work
cold.
ethic. You were stealing, number one, and you didn't sell one fucking ticket, so you're lazy and you're a thief.
Oh, excuse me. God,
How
I thought
dare
you'd be
you.
impressed. If anyone,
No,
thought would
I
get
know.
around.
I'm just trying to. Yeah, I love that you stole. That's
So
Maybe
Nat,
I shouldn't say I stole from the MCG.
Oh, that's
no,
fine.
you're an
They're
independent
fine.
company.
They're
Yeah,
fine.
Fuck, well, what? The
They're
mayor
fine. I
is
reckon
going to
they're gonna be
mayor
all right.
of the MCG is
The
going to
mayor
come
knows
down.
that.
Someone's closing in on me between the MCG, local council,
And these fucking
and
magpies.
every cafe in Melbourne. I'm toast. I've got to go underground.
So
You gotta-
I have to,
you gotta
well,
run.
before let you go,
Yeah.
we have to know what's the worst gig you've ever done.
Oh, I was thinking about this. It's kind of sad. It was
Good.
good. Listen, it was definitely in Edinburgh. So I
Okay.
did the Edinburgh Fringe. I did the Free Fringe.
Oh, actually, no, the free fringe is not too.
Yeah, it was a wild experience.
So
I
the free
loved it and
fringe
hated
means
it.
that like you get a venue and you can people didn't pay you what they think the show was worth.
Yeah, so you don't
Yeah.
get charged room hire
Yeah.
or anything like that, whereas a lot of them charge you fucking 20 grand before
So
you get
much.
there and you got to chase 20 grand, whereas
Gotta-
this, you can just
yeah.
perform.
It
Punters
often
can
means
leave
the
a
room
tip.
that you're in isn't very good, and sometimes punters pay you nothing, so you can do a
Yes.
show
Yes.
for free, literally for free.
And that was the thing I remember because it's like, you always, well, I don't know. In Melbourne, sometimes you're just nervous. You're like, I just want a good crowd in the room. You just want a good
Yeah.
energy. And I remember after doing my first couple of shows doing the Free Fringe, I was like, this is wild. Like a full room,
Yeah.
like 60 people. And Saturdays were always so busy. And then I remember coming to dread that. I was like, oh, it's Saturday and it's
Yeah.
going to be full. And it's like, I'd never had that dread before. And it was
Yeah,
because
sounds
it's like
great.
they're literally coming to charge their phone, or they're coming into the
Oh.
room to like just be, I don't know, it's just somewhere to sit.
yeah,
And they
and say
Right.
they saw something, but they're not actually there to watch.
Yeah. So you would come, I
yeah.
came to dread
Yeah.
these bigger weekend shows. And it was really tough because I was doing a show. Oh God, it was like a storytelling show. Like
Great.
it was like a through line. So I needed people's
Attention.
attention and they needed to follow like some kind of thread through the show. So it was a hard one to do in Free Fringe. Never do it again. And I remember just this guy was messaging, like his Facebook Messenger, his phone was plugged in and he was in the front row and he was just laughing and messaging through the
No.
entire
He
show.
that's
Oh
such a
my
bold move. Yeah,
God.
just plugging into on stage.
Yeah, and it was just binging, and I told him off like a couple
Oh,
of
so
times.
it wasn't even on silent.
No, oh God, no.
Well, how was he going to hear the
This is
messages?
disgusting.
Yeah, people, and that was nothing. Like people would be walking in and out. And I remember this was towards the end of my run, and I remember it was like the shows would just go so up and down.
Yeah.
And I was on the back of like some really, like I'd had a few really tough shows in a row, and then I remember I was like, yeah, can you get out? Like, can you turn your phone off
Fuck
or get
off.
out?
Yeah.
And he just continued to like ignore me. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. And then it just
the
continued to happen.
Bar staff didn't come over.
No,
and
there's
help?
no
There's
stuff.
no one
Like
in those
I
rooms,
literally,
yeah.
you would announce yourself and you would kick the door closed, and it was like you were completely on your own. It was like there was a fire in there, like no one would even
I
know.
brought my own fan one year because people were passing out. They're like, yeah, I was giving out ice creams and shit. They were like,
You can do whatever.
yeah.
no.
It's a Wild West.
And he
could've-
refused to leave.
He refused to leave, and it
God.
just went on for like the entire show. And then the rest of the crowd started to arc up. This isn't even a funny story. And then no shit, I was so worn out from doing the Fringe.
Oh, would they arc up like they were going, dude, just get out.
Yeah,
Like that?
and then
Okay.
and other people were talking. It was just like I lost complete control of the room, and then I honestly, I had to fight back tears.
Yeah.
And then it turned out I had a reviewer in the audience as well. And then I got my roughest review, and it was hands down the worst gig of
But
my life.
why would a reviewer? Why would they think that was a good one to review?
This is why I say I generally don't let reviewers into the show.
Yeah.
It's because in cases like that where you go, okay, well this is fucked. There's some factors here. I'm just not going to review it at all.
Yes.
As opposed to, or I'll come back where they're like,
Yeah.
nah, the air conditioning was fucked.
No.
And you're like, oh, shut
How
the
would
fuck
I-
up.
And it was
control
such a
of that.
double whammy because I remember this publication came to review it because it was the show was like a personal show as well because it was a show about my dad who had died, and so it had like it just had so many different elements going to it. And then this reviewer had written to me because someone said, you should get in contact with this guy. He works in palliative care and he reviews all shows that deal with grief and death or whatever.
Okay.
And he did a showcase of everyone's show who dealt with like death and grief. And I was like, oh, someone told me to reach out to you wondering if you've seen my press release or whatever. And he was like... And obviously you want to make your show sound fun. You're like, yeah, I'm going to be talking about death, but it's like, also I've got a sense of humor, like comedy. And he's like.
But funny.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm like, oh, I wonder if you see my show. And he's like, oh, I saw it. It didn't really sound like it was about death. I was like, oh, just to clarify, yeah, it's about my dad dying, like 100% about death. He's like, oh, I was thrown by the line about, you know, whether you're grieving this or that. I go, oh, yeah, I was just trying to make it entertaining. Like, you can't win.
Yeah,
and,
what do you want?
So then he was like he sent someone to kind of do me a favor after, he kind of maybe felt bad that he'd shrugged off my show. Anyway, it was that
show.
And then he came to that show and it was horrendous.
And it
Was it the
horrible
company
review.
we all are thinking, the big one?
No, it
That I
wasn't.
hate?
No.
Okay.
No. It
Oh
was
my
all right. It was a
God.
perfect level of like, it was legitimate enough if it was a good review to use it, but it's also, you could bury it.
Yeah.
So it was
that's
okay.
but I always say with reviews, and I know we get caught up on it, no punter reads reviews.
None.
And now 90% of them behind paywalls. It's only comedians who read other comedians' reviews.
Just give me the stars.
Yeah, but I don't even want the stars on my post. I don't put the stars on because I don't want them to have any power. I put reviews by comedians who I respect, who have seen the show,
Okay.
and they're the quotes I use.
Yeah.
I could put a 4-star review on if I wanted to. I could put a 1-star. Heggy's got 5 all the way through to 1, which is pretty funny because he's got them all.
That's great.
But it's like, I'm not giving these cunts any power. And no one, I mean, besides, sometimes maybe stars help, but I'm like, man, if people want to see the show, they'll see the show. Come see it because of the poster.
Yeah.
Will or Dave or someone's written something nice. Come to that.
Yeah.
No one is like clickety, oh, what is the review?
And it's so
Shut
true,
up.
all behind paywall. But that's not a very funny story though. Sorry, that was.
that is the
No, it's
worst.
stressful.
That's so. But you don't need to be. The worst gigs aren't funny.
Yeah.
that is so brutal, especially because this was a story that, and Brady's doing this year or next year for his next show. Is he's telling a story that is personal to you, so you're like, please respect this story. Like you don't have to like it.
Yeah.
Great. But don't write a review about it and be like, I didn't get it. One lady said to me about my show this year that I just did, which was about like, part of it was about my postnatal depression. One woman contacted her, a mutual friend of ours, and said, oh, I didn't like it. I couldn't relate. I was like, oh, because it wasn't about you though.
yeah.
Well, it would be fucking weird if I did your story.
I've been spying on you for a year to write this show, so I'm really upset.
And then it's also the reviewers are like, anyway, I'm back to writing lawnmower reviews for the rest of the year. It's like, none of these cunts know comedy. Why would I want to listen to any of your opinions?
Yeah.
None of you do stand up. If a comedian who I respected wrote a review and said it was bad, I'd go, yeah, okay, well, I'll listen to you because you understand the platform.
Well, it's good. It's also because reviews. So you're like, oh, how? And they're like, don't take it personally. It's like, how can I not take it personally when you're writing about me as a person and also my story, which is about me. Like it is personal. Like it's absolutely
and they know
personal.
the comedians are fucking reading it as well. And it's like, it's okay. Melbourne's a month of 22 shows in a row. You're stressed out. You're fucking up and down in emotion. That's why I don't read them. I don't engage with them. Even my media nights, I'm like, if you're in here, get the fuck out. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't want them in there. I just don't care. If the audience is happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't put any weight on it.
Yeah.
The first review I got was by this guy who, my second review only got reviewed by 2 people, Chortle and then this guy from The Age, and he wrote the nastiest. Like Chortle, Chortle review was lovely. This Age guy wrote and he came to a really good show as well. I was like, if he didn't like that, I don't know what I couldn't. There's nothing I could do.
Couldn't relate. Don't have a womb.
Yeah. He wrote he said she made fun of homeless people, and I never made fun of her. So he misquoted me entirely. So if anyone was reading it, they're like, "Fuck, that's a horrible thing." I was like, I never made fun. So not only he just didn't like me for whatever reason, didn't like me. Don't have to. Fine. But it was so mean what he'd written. Like everything was so nasty, and the fact that he misquoted me made me so angry because I was like, "Great, now do I respond to this?
Yeah,
to be like,
can you get that
hey
retracted?
Guys, I did, yeah." And I was like, "I don't know." Anyway, he was that guy has been banned from everyone. Like my management has banned that guy from all of the shows.
Yeah.
Because they're like, he's just a hateful little gremlin
I
who
feel like I know
comes
who he
in.
is.
You know exactly who he is. He comes in and he just says nasty, really nasty things and doesn't care if he gets it wrong.
Yeah.
Like just maybe he could have like, you know, did I get when you said that thing about the big issue,
Yeah.
were you making fun of the guy selling it?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no, I wasn't.
How would you
I
know what the words are that you wrote and do every night though?
I know. And then I had two friends in the audience. One of them worked with homeless people, and the other one was a lawyer. So I'd said to them, like a human rights lawyer. So I said to them, "Did you
find that offensive?
Was I mean to homeless people in that bit? I'm making fun of the lady." Ignoring the guy selling like I'm making fun of the lady, not the man, homeless man. Anyway, they were like, oh, absolutely not. Like I didn't get that at all. So I'm like, okay, so if we're in the same room, he's just made that up because he doesn't like me.
This is why he's won, because you're still talking about it now. That's why I'm like, I just don't let the cunts in, so I don't have to have these things. You know what I mean? Like I legitimately don't care.
Yeah, good.
5, 2, 1, not reading it, don't like reading anyway. I'm not paying a subscription to the whatever the fuck shit newspaper it is.
Yeah.
I don't know who these cunts are. I've never seen them do stand-up. I don't respect you. You don't know fuck all about comedy. Get out of my fucking line sight.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, you can be the bouncer.
Yeah, I'm going to need that on
everyone's
my phone.
Yeah, I've already said this year. They're like, oh, so what about reviews? I'm like, they're not allowed in as per usual.
But they still go in.
They go,
don't
well,
they?
if they buy a ticket, I said, yes, they can fucking buy a ticket. If they want to come, they can buy a ticket.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, the guys, some of them have anything to do with awards. I was like, I don't want a fucking award and I'm not
Yeah.
getting one. I don't care about them either. I just care about if I'm happy with the show and the audience is happy with the show, they're my only two factors I care about.
That's
And
beautiful.
it's going to be a great show next year, Brady.
Well,
Are
I
you
haven't
doing a
fucking
show?
written it, so-
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But
All right,
you know
we gotta wrap this up, 'cause
Nadia, you're
we're-
doing a show.
Yes,
You are.
I will
Great.
be doing a show.
Great. Okay, great. And so have you already got the name for it?
I think so, yes.
What is it? Tell
I
us.
don't want to make a scene.
Okay.
That's good.
The lady who constantly is making
Making
scenes. This is
scenes.
perfect.
And there's 2 magpies in it.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a good show. So how can people find you?
You can follow me on Instagram.
Yes.
Nat is Dragon. Is
Nat
probably
is
the easiest.
Dragon. Very good.
It's what's the Instagram handle?
Nat is Dragon.
Oh, I thought you said the Australian. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, did you write the horrible review about Bronny?
That was me.
Yeah. What a weird way to bring it up.
I
Anyway.
hate homeless people. What
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
Australian?
I feel like
The
that is
Australian. Nat is Dragon.
Nat
Doesn't
is
want to make
Dragon.
a scene,
Nat
but
is
she is a
Dragon.
fucking dragon.
Yes.
Very good. Thanks so much for coming on,
thanks
Nat.
for having me on.
Thank you very
This is
much,
the
guys.
best.
If you're not already on the Patreon, make sure you do so. Our YouTube channel, give it a subscribe. And if you're not already liking our Instagram account, get around it, you fucking legends.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Goodbye.
guys. Thanks, Nat.
I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets, like real bullets.
Kill me.